Welcome everybody to the channel. Today we're going to be solving valid palindrome. This one should be a quickie. What is a valid palindrome? A phrase is a palindrome if, after converting all uppercase characters into lowercase letters and removing all non-alphanumeric characters, it reads the same forwards as it does backwards. Alphanumeric characters include letters as well as numbers. So, given a string S, return true if it is a palindrome or false otherwise. Taking a quick look at the examples, a man, a plan, a canal, Panama is indeed a palindrome because if you remove all the special characters and spaces and change all the characters to lowercase, a man, a plan, a canal, Panama is indeed a palindrome. It reads the same forwards as it does backwards. The other example, race a car, however, is not a palindrome because after removing these special characters and setting them all to lowercase, race a car does not read the same forwards as it does backwards. R-A-C-E-A-C-A-R, R-A-C-E, yeah. You can see that it is indeed not a palindrome. So how will we solve this in Clojure? Let's head on over to the Blackboard. Let's take a look at how we're going to be solving this problem. In this case, I think the first thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take the original string and transform it so that it doesn't have any special characters in it. So from the example here, race car, we would then go and try to get the value race car. And so here you can see that we've removed the colon, we've removed the space. Now we just have one string race car, but we want to be able to do a comparison against the reversed string. So we're going to also want to remove any capitalization. So we go from race car here to race car all lowercase. And once we have race car all lowercase, we would then want to flip that, which of course is going to look like the same, and perform a comparison. Does race car equal race car? If yes, then we have a palindrome. If no, then we don't. So that's the strategy. Let's head on over to the Clojure code. So here we are inside of Visual Studio Code using Calva. We are already jacked in. Down below, you can see the output of the REPL. So we want to get a palindrome. How are we going to do this? Well, as described on the Blackboard, the first thing that we're going to want to do, take our string, and then we will want to remove special characters. And then we will want to lowercase the string. And then we would want to reverse and compare. Before we write the code for that, let's go into a rich comment form, and see how we might do that. Removing special characters here, in Python, there's a function called isAlphanum or isAlphanumeric. In Clojure, we could probably dive down into the Java interop and get something that way, but I think that it would be better to instead try not to do that and go the route of using regexes instead. So here we can use our reseek, and from here we can now build our regex that we want to be filtering a string on, and that would be any capital letters A to Z, followed by any lowercase a to Z, as well as any numbers. Of course, this all has to be in a string here. There, that's how that guy needs to look, and pass into it some kind of string. So, and if we have a 1 there, the 1 does go in. If we have a period there, the period does not go in. And we are returning from reseek regular expression sequence. So it's returning a lazy sequence of successive matches of pattern in a string. And it does appear that we are indeed filtering out anything that is not alphanumeric in this case. So reseek is what we want. But when we return this, we want it to be a normal string again. So somehow we're going to have to get that output, and we're going to have to smash it back into a string. So if we go and we take this guy here and we have that there, and if we do string on that, you can see that we now get a string, but it's including that sequence on the outside. And we want to not get that, rather we want to get back specifically string 1, like so. And how are we going to do that? Well, we did this also in the valid Sudoku problem. We can use apply. In fact, if you look at apply, the very first example that is provided is indeed something very similar, where if you define strings as a vector of multiple strings, when you add apply to it, you can then concat your strings that way. It is essentially doing the same thing as saying string with string 1, string 2, and string 3 as your arguments. So if we were to, instead of have that list there, we did string on this, boom, that is indeed the result that we want. So here we can go ahead and pass that in, and that is also the result that we want. So when we know that the reseek is going to be a lazy list, we want to get a string back, we can do apply string here, and we get back our string minus any special characters. So remove special characters is done and ready. We can go ahead and replace that by creating a new function. We're going to call this actually filter alpha numerics, and it's going to take a string and also return a string. What we're going to send to it is this code right here, but instead of string 1, it's going to be our s. Boom. Let's see how that looks. Filter alpha num on string, yeah, and string 1, yeah, and string 1 with that, and then string 1 with that. Good. So filter alpha numeric is ready. We can go here and take our original string s and then call filter alpha numeric on it. The next thing that we want to do is we want to lowercase it, and I think the way that we're going to want to lowercase this guy is to use Clojure string. So we can require from here Clojure dot string as s or as string, sure. And once you have that, you can stir contains the function lowercase. So if we have lowercase here, we need to pull that guy in, shoop, and now once we have string in there, yeah, ss, and then a, all are being lowercase. That's a one-liner, so in this case I don't think we need to pull this out into a separate function, so we will just do string lowercase. I don't even want to do any additional testing on that. To reduce the number of lines, we can also go ahead and like so. And then we want to reverse and compare. Well, reverse and compare. Does string provide a function for this too? It does. Okay, so that means we can do reverse, and if we do ABC, on this guy comes out with CBA. All right, so this guy here, let's throw this into a let binding, and we're going to say that we have a cleaned string, yeah, and our clean string is going to be that. And then here our reverse and compare is going to happen outside of the let binding. And here we're going to say equals cleaned s to the string reverse cleaned s. And we can go ahead and check equal ABC, CA. Those are all looking good. And if we go ahead and say filter alpha numeric on ABC, followed by string lower case, there we are, and we have a capital with a 1, the dot with a space, good. And if we have race car, we have race car, and if we do that guy reversed. We have raised car, A, and then a raised car, X, CT, and then TCXA. Okay, so it's reversing correctly. We are cleaning correctly. This makes me think that our palindrome function should be done. Let's go ahead and check it. Palindrome race car is true. 1 race car 1 is false because numbers are valid in this case, spaces are not. If we do A here like so, and an A here, a race car A is also true. And then if we put in a different character, now it is false. Well, that looks good to me. So let's head over to our test suite and check to see if it works also against our edge cases. All right, so here we have our tests. We've got some standard palindromes: a man, a plant, a canal, Panama, Madam and Edom, I'm Adam, and no X and Nixon. These all read the same way forward as they do backwards. You've got some non-palindromes: race A car, palindrome is not a palindrome, and A, B, C, D, E. Finally, you've got some edge cases with empty string spaces, special characters, and singular characters, etc. So what does it look like? We hand these all over to our tests, and as you can see with our test, 12 passes, 0 failures, 0 errors. This looks good to me. So there you have it. Here's our solution, a really short and sweet solution. We have one helper function, which is going to be doing a regular expression, is going to use a regular expression on the string to return a lazy sequence of only characters that are capital letters, lowercase letters, or a number, thereby removing all of our special characters, periods, spaces, greater than, less than, whatever. And then we are going to use apply string to concatenate or to change this lazy sequence back into a string, and we pass it back into palindrome. Once we have filtered out those values, we then send them all to lowercase. And finally, we do a comparison. We say, hey, is the cleaned string that we have created equal to the reverse of the clean string? If the reversed clean string is equal to the clean string, then we have a palindrome. Otherwise, we do not. So that's that. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and leave a comment down below. Subscribe if you want. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you again next time.